just settle yourself comfortably and take a slow, deep breath, holding it for a moment, then breathing out slowly, and allow yourself to be as relaxed as you want to be. Allow your eyes to close whenever you want to, and let all the muscles in your face become so lazy that you can actually feel them settling and smoothing out. That's a good feeling when you allow your face muscles to relax like that, because it tells your subconscious that you're in a place of total safety, that it's all right for your whole body to be as relaxed as you want it to be, no more and no less. And it may be that you'll be able to relax more than ever before, and that's good. And if you only relax just a little, that's fine too. And whatever you choose, you'll soon be aware of a sense of well-being and calmness, and you can let any troubles, any cares, just drift away from you as you allow yourself simply to drift to a special place where there are no troubles and cares, a special place where there is only calmness and comfort and easiness that can fill every pore, every fibre, every cell of your entire body. And you can scan your mind through your body, and every time you find a trace of tension, just let it go. Let it go and replace it with an easy calm in your neck and shoulders, in your arms and hands, right down to the very tip of each finger and the tip of each thumb, in the muscles of your body, in your legs, just allowing relaxation to flow all around your ankles and heels, all the way down to the very tip of each toe, so that very soon you'll find yourself to be as comfortable as you could ever wish to be, just letting your thoughts drift, and maybe allowing your conscious thoughts to just stop for one split second in time, just for one split second in time, allowing your conscious thoughts to just stop, so that your subconscious mind can get on with the business of helping you to feel the best you can ever feel without conscious interference, because that subconscious of yours knows exactly the way to help you feel as good as you can feel. And now you're so beautifully relaxed, nobody wanting anything, nobody expecting anything, and absolutely nothing whatsoever for you to do except to relax. I want you just to let your mind and your imagination drift, feeling lazy, easy and comfortable. And I want you to imagine that you're standing on the terrace of a lovely old house. A house like a stately home or country mansion. You can feel the sun on your head and shoulders. Not too hot, just comfortable. And there's a gentle breeze playing against your skin. As you look around you, you notice an elegant marble flight of steps, 10 broad steps leading down into a beautiful sunken garden. A garden where you sense peace, well-being and comfort. Make it really vivid in your mind. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 10 down to 0. And as I count all the way down from 10 down to 0, I want you to imagine that each number is a step down on this beautiful staircase, a step down towards this beautiful garden. And each step you take is another step down into deeper and even deeper levels of relaxation, so that by the time I get to 0, you will be as deeply relaxed as you can ever imagine, while still being able to hear and respond to the sound of my voice. 10. Take the first step down now, relaxing and letting go. 9. Feeling more and more relaxed. No need to hurry. Plenty of time. 8. Moving down easily now. 7. Deeper and deeper. 6. Deeper still. Your breathing becoming slower and steadier. 5. Really relaxing now. Just let go. 4. Becoming calmer and calmer. 3. Calmer still now. 2. More and more relaxed. 1. All the way down now to 0. And now you find yourself in this wonderful garden. You can feel the softness of the newly cut grass beneath your feet, as the scent of masses upon masses of brightly coloured flowers seem to envelope you, and there's a gentle sound of birds singing, echoing faintly in the stillness of the air. It's almost a magical place, stretching into the distance as far as the eye can see in all directions, with beautiful shrubs, tall elegant trees, and an ornamental fountain which seems to feed into a gentle trickling stream. This fascinates you, and you wander to the edge of the stream and gently lower yourself down onto the soft grassy bank and just sit for a while, gazing into the cool, clear water, marvelling at the sense of tranquility that sweeps over you, and listening to the faint sound of the fountain splashing into the pool that feeds this gentle stream. After a little while, you lay back on the grass and gaze up at the clearest of blue skies. And as you relax more and more, your eyes begin to close, and you just drift off into a deep and relaxing sleep. And as you sleep, you have a dream. You dream that your whole body is becoming lighter, lighter and lighter. So light that you can feel you must surely begin to float on air at any moment. And then you feel yourself just floating and drifting, gently borne aloft and supported by the softest of warm breezes. And you can somehow see through your closed eyelids that you're floating in a sea of colour, a warm sea of colour that relaxes and comforts you as you just drift, suspended in warmth and colour that seems somehow unreal, and yet at the same time has a comfortingly familiar feel to it. You're aware of misty reds and orange, soft muted yellow tones, gentle greens and blues that seem somehow like clouds, and the deepest, softest indigos and violets that you could ever have imagined. And it begins to dawn on you that you're floating in a rainbow, a magical rainbow, because in this rainbow, time and space doesn't exist in the same way we usually know it. You might have floated there for just a moment, or for 100 years, maybe for a lifetime, or just perhaps for the blinking of an eye. You could have floated forwards in time, to a time that could be far beyond our future, or maybe back in time, back before your own lifetime. It gradually begins to seem to you that you might even be able to float here for just as long as you wish, with this wonderful, relaxed feeling, just floating and drifting through this magical sea of gentle flowing colours, where time seems to be suddenly of so little importance. You're still pondering on these thoughts when you feel yourself beginning to float gently downwards, lower and lower, softly sinking down through this beautiful rainbow, becoming even more relaxed, even more lazy, until eventually you realise that you've stopped floating downwards and you find yourself on the shore of a tranquil lake, a large tranquil lake surrounded by softly rolling hills that are shrouded in a gentle silver mist. There are trees and sweetly scented flowering shrubs, and grass is growing at the water's edge, and everything is bathed in a beautiful golden light, a golden light that seems to bathe everything in its warmth. And you find yourself marvelling at the sense of deep calmness and comfort that seems to fill your entire being as you stroll lazily along the sandy shore of this wonderful lake, noticing with a sort of lazy curiosity that it seems to be constantly changing colour, subtle changes blending so smoothly that it's difficult for you to know exactly when limpid blue has become a deep, soft violet, or when that deep violet becomes a relaxing, translucent green. The changes of colour fascinate you, and you settle yourself down onto a small, smooth rock and just gaze out across the crystal clear waters. Every so often, something, a fish maybe, just something, just breaks the surface, creating ripples that seem to flow gently and endlessly in all directions, ripples that eventually lap against the edges of the rock that you're sitting on. You smile and lean forward to dabble your hand amongst them, and as you do so, you create yet more ripples, ripples that shimmer in a kaleidoscope of different colours across the lake, interacting with the others and making new, ever-changing patterns. You realise that this tranquil place is the pool of all knowledge, that while you are here, you are a part of everything, and everything a part of you. And you find it easy, so very easy to open your mind, to let go of any barriers to memory or learning. And as you consider this wonderful realization, you realize that night has fallen, and you realize you're surrounded by a soft, warm, velvet darkness that seems to envelope you in a wonderful sense of warmth and comfort. When you look upwards, you can see 1,000,000 stars, glittering in the clearest of midnight skies, some of them seeming so bright that it's almost as if you can reach out and touch them, while others seem so faint you're only just barely aware of their presence. And as you look around you, and your eyes gradually become accustomed to the starlight, you find yourself gazing into a beautiful wooded valley, and deep in the valley, away in the distance, you can see a faint glimmer of light, a faint glimmer of light with a kind of blue tinge that somehow seems to give it warmth and life. The light seems to beckon you, somehow seeming to offer comfort in some way that you don't quite understand as yet. And with a sense of wonderment and curiosity, you rise easily and effortlessly to your feet and begin to make your way lazily along a gently sloping hillside, just catching a faint and delicate tinkling sound that might be temple bells somewhere in the distance. And as you move, just following one lazy, easy step with another, a sense of well-being seems to fill your whole body, a sense of tranquility and calmness that begins to increase as your tread becomes steadily lighter until you can hardly feel your feet touching the ground, and it seems to you as if you must surely be floating on air. Eventually, you realize that you have left the slopes of the hillside and you are wandering lazily across a grassy plain. The faint tinkling sound that might be temple bells coming from somewhere in front of you. And as you move closer to that faint glimmer of light, with a gentle blue tinge, it begins to become more distinct, and you realize that it seems to be coming from somewhere far above you, coming from somewhere high in the clearest of midnight skies, and extending in a column towards the ground. As you get closer, you can see rays or atoms moving throughout that gentle light, and it may be that you can see those rays moving downwards, or perhaps they seem to be moving upwards, or they might even seem to be moving in a random fashion. And your mind knows what feels best for you. That powerful subconscious mind of yours knows exactly what is right for you, exactly what feels right for you. And as you look up towards the top of that column of white light, it may be that you can see where it comes from, or if it just seems to gather somehow, somewhere, in that clearest of midnight skies. And when you look down to where that column of light meets the ground, it might seem to you that it forms a pool of light, or perhaps it seems to simply disappear completely into the air. Your mind knows what is the best thing for you. That powerful subconscious mind of yours knows exactly what's right for you. And however that column of light seems to you, that's exactly the right way for it to be for you. And as you gaze in wonderment at the light, you realize that the faint tinkling sound of temple bells seems to be coming from somewhere inside it. You lazily stretch out an arm, allowing the light to play around your fingertips. There's a warm, pleasant, tingling sensation, a wonderful sense of well-being. And you realize that this column of light has the power to heal, to rejuvenate, to re-energize. And you drift lazily into it, marveling at the sense of well-being and calmness and completeness that surrounds you. Inside this column of light, it's almost a magical place, because it seems to stretch into the distance in all directions, as far as the eye can see. It seems to you that you can see waterfalls and rock formations, mountains and forests. There are fountains and ornamental trees, and far away in the distance, a golden domed temple, shimmering in a blue tinted haze. Gradually you realize that the atoms and rays that surround you are accelerating your body's natural healing processes, your mind and body's natural resources that allow you to find a wonderful sense of an inner strength, an inner calm. You can actually feel those atoms and rays giving you a sense of health, energy and well-being. Feel those atoms and rays giving you something that is infinitely good and taking from you all that which is not so good, leaving you feeling totally relaxed, totally comfortable and totally at ease within yourself. And it may be, while you're there, that you find you can float up to the very top of this column of light, to its very beginnings, to find a truth. Or perhaps you can float downwards towards the pool at its base, or maybe down into the very earth itself, where your mind might find the answers to questions, or maybe rare sources of healing, sources that your mind knows so well, so naturally how to use. And nobody needs to know what you'll find there, or even where you will travel to while you're in this place. But whatever happens is absolutely the right thing for you, and whatever you find is yours, especially for you, just for you. Whatever you find there is absolutely the right thing for you to find, because that powerful and all-knowing subconscious of yours knows exactly the resources you need. After a while, you realize that it's time to leave this wonderful place, and it's not long before you're making your way back along the valley towards the hillside with an easy, lazy tread that seems to carry you with hardly any effort at all. So easily are you moving that you scarcely realize you are climbing the hill until you're almost at the very top. And after just a few more steps, you turn to look around you, and it seems as if the whole world is spread out before you, and you can see that faint glimmer of white light down there in the valley in the distance. And you know you can always find it whenever you want to, whenever you need to, simply by going down that hill into the valley in your mind, in that soft velvet darkness. And as you look around you now from your position on the top of the hill, you realise with a sense of wonderment that you're on the very top of the world. You realise that you are absolutely on top of the world, and you decide to rest for a while, just drinking in this wonderful feeling. And after a while you realise that the sun has risen, kissing the land with a gentle golden glow, and you can see that you're on the very top of a green hill on a tropical island. You begin to feel the warmth of the sun on your head and shoulders, and can see the long grasses around you moving slightly in the gentlest of breezes. When you look down the hill, you can see a narrow, winding path that disappears into a small forest. And beyond the forest you can see the ocean, with sunlight from the clearest of blue skies glancing off the tops of the waves in the bay, so that the whole ocean seems to shimmer and sparkle. You begin to move lazily and easily down the path, with the ferns and grasses brushing gently against your legs as you pass, and you just catch the faint smell of salt borne in on the breeze, and become aware of the distant sound of the ocean on the shore. Maybe hear seabirds calling faintly from a long way off. You marvel at the deep sense of calmness and tranquility that sweeps over you as you move on down and down towards the forest, moving so easily, so effortlessly. You feel almost as though you're floating on air, and in no time at all you find yourself drifting through the trees, their leaves closing overhead to form a canopy, their branches making an irregular pattern against the clear of blue sky. It's pleasantly cool in the forest, and the gentle sounds of birds singing echoing faintly, and the scent of the trees and undergrowth relaxes you still further as you move easily into the inviting depths, becoming lazier and lazier with each step you take. You can hear a stream somewhere, its gurgling sound gradually mingling with the sound of the ocean. And as you follow the winding path down and down towards the beach that you know is in front of you, weaving through the trees and brushing aside the occasional piece of foliage, until, quite suddenly, you feel the warmth of the sun on your head and shoulders again, and you find yourself on a beautiful deserted beach. A beautiful golden shoreline sweeping away in a gentle curve in front of you to a distant point where the trees seem to come right down to the shoreline, so that their branches actually seem to overhang the ocean itself. You can feel the sand warm between your toes as you stroll lazily across the broad beach to the water's edge. The sand becomes a darker golden colour when you get there, and you enjoy the change to a moist, firm coolness beneath your feet as you wander along the shore, leaving a lazy trail of footprints in the sand behind you. Every so often a larger than usual wave sends rivulets of water foaming around your feet. And as they recede, you notice how the sand is washed away from tiny coloured pebbles, glinting like jewels in the sun, smell of the ocean, sunlight and waves, sound of the water hissing over the sand. All these things seem to create a sense of timelessness for some unknown reason, and you find yourself a comfortable position, a grassy hollow maybe, to just sit and gaze out across the rolling depths of the horizon, trickling warm golden sand idly through your fingers. There's a faint haze which makes it difficult for you to see exactly where the sky stops and the ocean starts, and as you try to fathom it out, you see a small white cloud appear from somewhere near the horizon. It comes towards the island quite quickly, growing larger as it approaches, until it's immediately overhead, the largest, fluffiest, whitest cloud you can ever remember. And you somehow know, just by instinct, that you can let all your worries, all your cares, all your fears just drift up towards this large white cloud. You can actually see them drifting away from you in a long, slow spiral, maybe like wisps of smoke from a bonfire, just spiraling away from you towards this large white cloud. The cloud absorbs all your worries into itself, swallowing up all your fears and anxieties, and becoming steadily darker all the time, until, just as it reaches its darkest, just as the last part of that spiral of your worries and cares disappears inside it, the sun bursts through, dispelling every one of your worries, every one of your fears and anxieties, to the edges of the universe, leaving you totally relaxed and perfectly at ease within yourself, without a single care in the world. And now, all your troubles and cares having floated away from you, you settle yourself down into a comfortable position and just drift off into a deep and relaxing sleep. And while you sleep, you have a dream. You dream you're walking down a long corridor, stretching away in front of you in a long, gentle curve, so long that you can't actually see the end of it. But you know that this corridor is in the very depths of your subconscious mind, in the part of your mind that knows just what to do and just how to do it. And as you begin to move along this beautiful corridor, becoming even more relaxed, even more lazy, you realize that time and space are beginning to lose their meaning, and slowly the walls of the corridor seem to dissolve, leaving you in a large room. The room is full of a gentle golden light that relaxes you still further, and you suddenly realize, with a surge of inspiration and pleasure, that what you once saw as limits are merely stepping stones to greater success. It suddenly dawns on you, with a surge of joy and anticipation, that what once seemed to you to be the limits of your personality, of your skills and abilities, are nothing more than stepping stones to even greater success. And from this day forward, you'll find yourself beginning to enjoy the process of living more and more, just enjoying being alive, being you, and everything that being you means. And as you're allowing your thoughts to drift, if you wish, or of course, you can choose to concentrate totally on everything I'm going to say to you here. The choice is entirely yours, and it's nobody's business which you decide to do. And if you decide to concentrate totally, that's good. But it's also good if you decide to become even more relaxed than you already are, and just allow your conscious thoughts to drift. And whatever you decide will be exactly the right thing for you, just as it is for everybody who chooses to experience that you are experiencing today. Because the subconscious mind never stops. And whether we are drifting far away in our minds, or totally concentrating on what is happening and where we are, the subconscious mind will still listen and absorb all that is important for us to absorb. And now I'm going to tell you a wee story. This wee story started a very long time ago, that you might at first think has nothing to do with you at all. But you will eventually realise exactly why I've decided to tell you this wee story, and you will see that it actually has a great deal to do with you. And this wee story starts more than 1 million years ago, in fact more than 3 million years ago, when man had begun to first walk the earth. In those days, people's lives were quite different from ours. They had to be able to hunt efficiently and effectively, and sometimes to kill just in order to survive. And some of those people were better than others, and were able to produce more offsprings, children who would be able to hunt even better than their fathers. And each generation passed on their skills to the next, and the fittest and strongest thrived and became even fitter and stronger, while the weakest gradually fell by the wayside. And so it carried on, that strong pattern of humanity, the genes for success and survival being passed on to each generation for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. And I want you to imagine, in any way that you can, 2 streams of genetic information being passed on from one generation to the next. Each of those streams carrying the very best of human survival skills and resources in a pure line that was everything that man was designed to be. For thousands of years more, through earthquakes, flood and tempest, massive volcanic eruptions, pestilence and plagues, and dreadful famine. And still, these two streams of genetic information survived. The individuals who were carrying these genes, defeating all odds, and actually growing in strength, becoming stronger as they survived all these terrible circumstances. The genes actually gaining in strength as they were passed on from parent to child, and the individuals that carried them one to another, surviving wars and dreadful inventions, guns, bombs, warships, and the bearers of these two streams of genetics still survived and passed their strengths on to their children. And then, at a certain moment back in time, the two individuals who carried those genes from their ancestors, those ancestral genes that had survived all those millions of years, came together in a single moment in time and created you. They created you. You are now the bearer of the strengths they had carried with them, the bearer of a magnificent and completely unique genetic stream that carries with it the resources and skills that the previous bearers developed and nurtured over millions of years. All of those skills are available to you. They are yours as a gift from ancient history. You couldn't not have them because they are your birthright and they are responsible for your very existence. And this might seem like an awesome thought as you realise that you are totally unique and yet the same as others. You are the equal of any other because we are all totally unique. Every one of us is in some way special. You are the equal of any other, even though you may sometimes recognise that you feel different from how others seem. But then you can recognise that you are totally unique, and this is a good thing. And you might begin to recognise about now that whatever situations you experience in the world, you have the resources to deal with those situations perfectly. You can easily turn a setback into an advantage if you put your mind to it, because you have all the resources that you have inherited, those strengths that are your birthright. And from this day forwards, you will find it so easy to discover those strengths when you need them, that you will amaze first yourself, then others. And now I want you to know a very clever trick. I want you to imagine a huge piece of paper, so big that you cannot really see all of it at once. And at the top left of this sheet of paper is one of your ancestors from millions of years ago. See it in your mind now, in any way you can. And at the top right is another one of your ancestors from the same period in time. And vividly imagine, in any way you can, that you can see the chains of ancestors moving down the page, handing on their strengths to the next generation all the time, becoming very gradually closer together. These two lines of your ancestors moving down and down the paper, becoming closer and closer together, so fast that you can't keep pace with it. Then, suddenly, they join at the point of the V, that they have formed, and there you are. You are the outcome of those millions of years of your ancestors' survival. And now I want you to imagine that huge piece of paper shrinking, 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 faster, 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 until it just becomes about the size and thickness of a playing card. And that piece of card has a simple V printed on it, and yet you know exactly what that stands for. It stands for everything that you are, and everything you can be. It stands for everything you will ever need in life, and everything you can do. It stands for the resources to solve life's problems whenever they arise, and to solve them so easily and so efficiently that you are the envy of all others. And I want you to make that V as vivid as you can possibly in your mind. See the size, see the colour, feel the texture of the card, feel the excitement of knowing what this means. And from this day forward, whenever you need a boost in life, whatever that boost may be, all you need to do is to hold that vivid image of that V in your mind for a moment or two, and you will find everything that you need in order to be everything you want to be. And from this day forward, whenever you need a boost in life, whatever that boost may be, all you need to do is to hold that vivid image of that V in your mind for a moment or two, and you will find everything that you need in order to be everything you want to be. And now I'm going to bring you back to the here and now. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and when I get to 5, you will be able to open your eyes easily, effortlessly. You will feel relaxed, refreshed, feeling good in every way. Okay, if you're ready, 1, 2, start to feel the room, become aware of the bed or the couch you're lying on. 3, start to wriggle your toes, your arms, your fingers. 4, 5, eyes wide open, wakey wakey. Thank you for listening to this recording, and it's goodbye for now.